Well, as we await the White House press briefing to begin at any moment now, another issue is creeping back into the spotlight, I should say. President Trump's firing of former FBI Director James Comey. This, as the New York Times reports, that special counsel Robert Mueller has acquired a draft of an initial letter that President Trump and a senior advisor drafted to justify Comey's firing. President Trump weighing in this morning, tweeting this: "Wow, looks like James Comey exonerated Hillary Clinton long before the investigation was over." And so much more. A rigged system, says the president. Let's bring in our legal panel: Bob Bianchi, criminal defense attorney and former head county prosecutor, and Caroline Polisi, a federal and white-collar criminal defense attorney. I'm going to let you guys run with this, Bob. So first of all, what did you make of the president's tweet?
I don't think that tweet has anything to do with the legal case whatsoever. There is so much noise that's out there with extraneous issues that prosecutors do not care about when trying to build an obstruction case. So I think he's only hurting himself by continually trying. By the way, some of the words, we were talking about this before, like in the Lester Holt interview and in the meeting with the Russians in the White House, are the very things that are building the prosecution's case here.
And you're making the case, Caroline, there was no obstruction.
Well, look, it's not in dispute that in a vacuum, the president has absolute authority to fire the FBI director. It's been done before. We saw Bill Clinton fire William Sessions in 1993. So it's not like this is out of the realm of possibility. Now, the issue here is going to be the intent behind the firing. And I think Mueller and his team have an uphill battle here, because for every potentially sort of nefarious rationale behind the firing, I think there's an equally compelling, benign reason that the Trump team has put forward.
You've worked up Bobby shaking his head.
So, listen, I'm not saying that the obstruction charge is going to be filed, but I wrote a couple of notes here. When you're speaking so positively about Russia in a way in the election that nobody gets, when you present a memo that obviously was pretextual from Rosenstein, when you do the Lester Holt interview or the meeting with the Russians, when you're pressuring senators, when there's confusion over the Donald Trump meeting, when you're asking for loyalty oaths, when you're attacking Sessions because he recused himself. These are all, we're only looking at the Comey firing as a minor thing. These are going to be a general global thing that they're going to look at. And if he had tried to impede an investigation, and here's where the defense will be able to make some room, a corrupt purpose. What those lawyers should be investigating, saying to Trump when they're speaking to the Attorney General and the FBI is that, look, when he gave those interviews, when he said those things, they were political hyperbole directed towards his base. You can't really believe that was the reason he did it. That's the defense.
I agree with you, Bob. But look, this Rosenstein memo lays out in perfect order a very compelling case for why Comey should be fired, which is that the public lost its trust in the Federal Bureau of Investigations and that therefore he should be fired. And it had nothing to do with the Russia investigation and everything to do with the Hillary Clinton email scandal.
Unfortunately, he said otherwise.
He did say otherwise. But look, in order for Mueller to pursue this claim, he's going to have to lump, as you said, he's going to have to show that this was a pretextual, that both of these letters were pretextual from Sessions and Rosenstein. And that's going to be a difficult thing to do. He's going to have to charge a conspiracy to commit obstruction.
In order to do that, he's going to build all this evidence together. But without an underlying crime, assuming there is no underlying crime, because of obstruction, you don't need an underlying crime, he wants to flip a witness. It's either going to be Manafort or it's going to be Flynn, or he wants to get smoking gun evidence to show that the reason he made those statements was because, in fact, he was concerned about his well-being over that.
So let's bring this full circle, Caroline, back to the president's tweet. Well, looks like James Comey exonerated Hillary Clinton.
Right. Well, I agree with Bob that the tweet isn't necessarily directly on message here. I do think it's interesting that it seems like the lines of communication are open now between the Mueller team and the Trump legal team. We know that there have been memos that the Trump team has given over to that investigation.
And to a prosecutor, those memos mean nothing. What it said to the prosecutor, those memos, let's attack Comey, what it said was, we really don't have to worry about the defense in this case. Those memos didn't do anything to make Bob Mueller fear what the defense had to proffer. And I think that was a mistake.
I agree Mueller's not necessarily taking everything that they have to say, soup to nuts. However, definitely, we're all adults here. Mueller is going to read those memos and see what the Trump team has.
A very civilized debate. I knew you guys were going to run with it. Thanks to both of you for being here.